Good afternoon. Welcome to week 2 of Midweek Moves. Thank you so much for joining me this afternoon and taking some time to move your body and stretch and relieve some of those aches and pains that you may be feeling from working at home, or maybe because you're bending over more, helping your kids with homework. My hope is that you leave this session feeling a little bit energized, feeling a little bit more loose and less stiff so that you can continue on with your day and have a really productive afternoon. A couple quick housekeeping things. This is being recorded, so if you don't want to be recorded, please turn off your video. Also, please feel free to ask questions as we go through this routine, but if you don't have a question to ask, go ahead and mute yourself so we don't have a lot of background noise. As far as intensity of exercise, the goal of this is to be a low to moderate intensity workout. So I want you to follow the talk test to measure your intensity, meaning you should be able to hold a conversation but not sing as we go through the different circuits. If you feel like you're getting to a point where you're out of breath or getting into a higher intensity level, please slow down your movement, take a seat if you need to help slow down your breathing before you resume moving with us. With all that, let's go ahead and get started. We're going to start warming up. We're going to start with shoulder rolls, just like we did last week. Everyone who provided feedback really liked the shoulder rolls, so we'll start with those again, thinking about really shrugging your shoulders up and down, feeling where you might feel some of that tension from the day, get a sense of what it feels like to be tight and then relaxed, letting go of any stress or tension that's there, opening that chest up as your shoulders come back. Couple more here, nice and gentle movement. All right, next we're going to move into some diagonals. So we're going to open our arms in opposite directions, really opening that chest up, feeling your shoulder blades squeeze together. If your shoulders don't like this up high position, feel free to stay lower and just do more of kind of a T position instead of an X. Okay? Do what feels good for your body. We're just getting warm, so this is nice and slow, controlled movement. Reminding ourselves of where those muscles in between our shoulder blades are so that they can do some work for us this afternoon. 2 and 1. Next, we're going to do some hip circles. So you can put your hands on your hips, and you're just going to roll your hips around almost like you're hula hooping. We're going to go clockwise a few times and stay in a pain-free range of motion if this is uncomfortable for you. So it may look like really little circles, it may look like bigger circles. Whatever feels good for your body. Loosening those hips up a little bit. And let's switch directions. Again, feeling where you might have a little stiffness in your low back and hips, just taking note of it. When we're aware of where we hold some tension, we can do something about it. If we have no awareness of it, then we're just kind of blindly moving, hoping to relieve some tension. Okay, let's move to some monster kicks. I'm going to turn sideways here. You're going to kick your leg up towards your hand, just as high as you feel like you can go. So maybe for some of you that looks like down here. For others of you, you may be able to reach all the way up towards your hands. Be gentle with this. Again, we're just getting warm, just warming our hamstrings up a little bit. Thinking about lifting your leg up towards your arms and not bending down to touch your legs. Again, nice and gentle here. If it doesn't feel good on your shoulders to have your arms up, you can certainly keep your arms down. You can hold on to a table or a sturdy chair for some support if you need it also. Couple more seconds here. And let's move into just a little mini squat with a reach to the side. Reaching up overhead, stretching and opening up that side of your body. Stretch and reach. Nice and gentle. If it feels good to you and you want to hold here for a breath or two, feel free to hold. Whatever feels good. Remember, as we stretch and move, and you're holding a stretch, it may feel uncomfortable, but it shouldn't feel painful as you go through it. Little mini bend in your legs if that feels good. Otherwise, you can just reach side to side here. Good. Okay, so now our body should be feeling a little bit warmer, a little bit looser. We're going to go into our first circuit. So this week for our 5-minute circuits, we're going to alternate between 2 different exercises. We're going to do each one for a minute, and then we'll repeat it. And then for the last minute, we'll do a different exercise, kind of a mobility exercise. So these first 2 exercises, we'll focus on some strength, and then we'll do a mobility exercise to finish out that circuit. So the first exercise we're going to do is a squat to a heel raise. We're going to turn to the side so you can see this here. So go ahead and start with me. We're going to sit our hips back like we're sitting in a chair, going as low as feels comfortable for you. And then we're going to stand up and come up on our toes if that feels good. Please use a desk or a stable chair if you need a little balance. If it doesn't feel good to go up on your toes, you can just stay with that squat. If it feels more comfortable to have a chair behind you, so you can really think about sitting your hips back, please do so. I want you to take a second and look at your knees as you come down. So pause at the bottom, make sure your knees aren't diving in this way. We also want to make sure our knees aren't going past our toes here. So our weight's in our heels as we go and stand up. Chest is nice and upright. Eyes are looking ahead. And again, your depth can be whatever feels good for you. So maybe it's just a little mini squat. Maybe you feel like you can get a little bit lower. You find your level of challenge and what feels good for your body this afternoon. 2 and 1. Okay, exercise number 2, we're going to do a bent over row. So last week we talked about our hip hinge. So a little bit of bend in our knees. We're going to hinge our torso forward so it moves all as one unit. And then from here, we're going to pull our shoulder blades together. So both arms at the same time. Rowing, squeezing our shoulder blades together, making sure our shoulders aren't coming up towards our ears as we do this. Okay, if you feel like you need a little bit of support, hang on to your table or chair. You can do one arm at a time. And then when we go through the second time, you can do that second arm. Okay? Head is an extension of my spine. So I'm nice and neutral here. I'm not looking down. I'm not looking up towards the ceiling either. It's nice and neutral. Really squeeze. Feel those muscles in between your shoulder blades working. Feel your chest opening up a little bit. If this bent over position is bothering your back, feel free to be more upright and just do more of an upright position row. Again, listening to your body, whatever feels the best for you. 3, 2, and 1. Okay, we're going back to that squat to heel raise. So we squat, come up on our toes if that feels good. Or we just squat up and down. 1 minute here. Last time you're going to do squats today, except when you get up and down from your chair. Waking the muscles of our bottom up from sitting. Hands can be on your side or loose on your side, whatever feels good and natural for you. If you feel like you want a little more challenge and have good balance, you could certainly put your arms up overhead as you go up on your toes, but only try that if you have good balance. Otherwise, you're holding on to a countertop or a sturdy chair as you go up on those toes. Our next exercise will require us to go down to the ground. My rule is don't go to the ground if you can't get up. So if you don't feel comfortable on the ground or you don't have room, stay standing. I'll give you an alternative position after I get everyone else going on the ground. 2 and 1. We go back to those bent over rows. Really squeezing those shoulder blades, even without any resistance. You should still have some awareness of that back side, of your upper back, the area in between your shoulder blades. If you're doing this on the replay and you have a resistance band at home, you could certainly add resistance to this. If you have soup cans, you could add a little lightweight. Couple more here. Feel that chest open. Again, check in, make sure you're not shrugging those shoulders up towards your ears. Shoulders are down and back. Elbows are brushing along your rib cage. 2 and 1. Okay, we're going to go down on the ground for this next exercise. Again, if you don't want to be down on the ground, stay standing. I'll show you an option in a second. We're doing thread the needle. We're going to do 30 seconds on each side. So we're on hands and knees. Our spine is nice and neutral. You're going to reach up towards the ceiling and then slide that arm through. Maybe holding for a breath if that feels good. And reach through. If you don't want to be on the ground, you can be standing, hanging onto your desk or a countertop, and we reach up and slide through. Okay, really working on twisting through our torso, not forcing it. Just nice and gentle movement here. Let's do one more on this side, and then let's switch sides. So we can come back down to the ground. Stay standing if you want to be standing. And we reach and drive through. Really reach up, look with your eyes up towards that top hand. May feel stiffer on one side versus the other. All right, come on back to standing. All right, so that was our first circuit. Next circuit, same format, 2 exercises that we'll do for 1 minute, and then we'll finish with a little mobility exercise at the end. This time we're going to start with side lunges. So you're going to go ahead and step to the side. I want you to still think about sitting back like you're sitting in a chair. Knees behind my toes, and my trailing leg, so my opposite leg goes straight. Again, you can hang onto a counter for some balance if you need it. Okay, we're alternating back and forth, just going as low as feels comfortable for you. Side to side here. Making sure my knees in line with my toes here. I'm sitting back. Really push that bottom back. Maybe you're going a little bit shorter or not stepping back together if that doesn't feel good for your body. So you can certainly be here and just kind of shift your weight side to side. Couple more seconds. 2 and 1. Okay, next one. Elbows are by our side. Our elbows are like hinges for opening a door. Shoulders are down and back. We're going to open and rotate here. Feel your shoulder blades squeeze, and then come back to center. Open and squeeze. Again, if you have a resistance band, you can certainly add a resistance band, or soup cans work nicely for this. Water bottle, if you feel like you need a little resistance. But again, you can get a lot out of this exercise even without any weight. If it's bothering your shoulder, you can decrease your range of motion a little bit. Again, finding that range that feels good for you. So if you haven't noticed yet, we're alternating between upper body strengthening and lower body strengthening. And then our mobility is working on kind of that thoracic spine rib cage area. 2, 1. Okay, back to those side lunges. Big steps, at those hips back like you're sitting in a chair. Make sure it feels good for your knees. Again, you can use something to hang on to if that helps you sit back a little bit more. But we're not kind of coming up on our toes like this. Nice Side to side movement, nice and control. As we lunge down, my back still moves as one unit, so I'm not arching my low back to try and get the range. I'm bending at my knees, bending at my hips to achieve that motion. And again, you can be here if that feels better for you. Maybe just getting a little stretch of your inner thighs. That might feel nice for you too. 2 and 1. Okay, for our mobility, we're coming back down onto all fours. Again, if you don't want to be on the ground, stay standing. I'll give you an option in a second. We're doing some cat and camel. So we're back in that all fours position. You're going to round your back like an angry cat, bring your chin down towards your chest, and then you're going to reverse that, looking up towards the ceiling, letting your low back arch. Okay, so going back and forth there. If you don't want to be on the ground, you can do this in sitting. Okay, so I round and then arch and look up. Round and look up. Again, staying at a relatively symptom-free range. So for some of us, it doesn't feel good to get into this big arch position. So you stop short of where that feels uncomfortable. And for some of us, it doesn't feel great to go forward this way. So just listen to your body. Do what feels good for you. Couple more seconds here. 2 and 1. Okay, to finish today, I want to show you guys a couple stretches for your neck, because in the feedback that you gave me from last week, that's something that you wanted to know a little bit more about. So we're going to start with a really gentle stretch for our upper trapezius, or the top part of our shoulder. So what you're going to do is you're going to bring your right ear to your right shoulder. And for some of you, this may feel like enough of a stretch, and that's great. If that feels like a stretch, stay there. If you feel like you need a little bit more, you can grab by your ear and very gently give yourself a little overpressure. If you're sitting in a chair, sometimes it's helpful to grab the bottom of your chair just to keep your shoulder down. We'll hold this for about 30 seconds. Again, stretching should feel uncomfortable but not painful. Letting your heart rate come down a little bit. Okay, let's go ahead and switch side. Gently come out of that. Left ear to left shoulder. Giving yourself a little overpressure here if that feels good for you. Making sure we're not really cranking and pulling on our neck. It should feel nice and gentle. Always listening to our body, honoring any symptoms that we may be having. Good, gently come out of that. Okay, second neck stretch I want to show you today is for your levator scapula. So this is a strapping muscle that goes from the top of your shoulder blade up along your neck here. So what you're going to do is you're going to turn your head towards your right hip pocket, and then you're, again, for some of you, this may feel like a stretch. You may feel a pull along your neck there. If you want a little bit more, you're going to grab towards the back of your head. You have a ponytail on, it's kind of right where your ponytail is. And you're going to gently pull down. It's kind of like you're trying to smell your armpit. Again, hand at the bottom of your chair can be helpful for helping to keep your shoulder down and get a little bit more stretch. And gently come out of that. Switch sides. So now you're going to look at your left, towards your left hip, look down towards your pocket, and gently pull if that feels good for you. Continuing to work on slowing your breathing down. and slowly come out of that stretch. Okay, so that's today's circuit of movement. These will be posted on the Therapeutic Associates Eagle website. And so there will be a little handout with all the exercises we did today and the instructions for doing them. You could do these every day. If you followed us last week, now you have 2 different routines you could alternate between. So you're doing one day and one the other day. My hope is that by the end of this, you have a series of 6 or 7 different routines that you could alternate between to help relieve that tension that you may be feeling during the day. If you have pain with any of these exercises, please stop doing that exercise. Rest. If you feel like you need to ice or anything like that, you could certainly ice. If it's something that lingers, then please get it checked out by a medical professional. All of our clinics are open for in-person visits and telehealth visits for those who aren't able to come for in-person visits. And so we're happy to help be a source of treatment and information for you if you're having some musculoskeletal discomfort. The replay of this will be posted to our Facebook page also, so you can watch it there and go through it whenever you feel like you need a little bit of a movement stack. I welcome and appreciate all of your feedback and input on exercises that you want to see more of and areas that you want to work on more. So please keep that coming, and I'll try and incorporate it into next week's workout. I hope you guys are all having a wonderful day. It's beautiful here in Idaho today. It's supposed to be almost 90 degrees. So I hope you're doing something to keep yourself healthy today. Go out and enjoy the sunshine. And we will see you next week for Midweek Moves at 12:30.